Ducati became the 11th brand in the Volkswagen Group portfolio on July 19, 2012. The acquisition of the legendary high-performance sports motorcycle manufacturer based in Borgo Panigale on the outskirts of Bologna, Italy, by Audi subsidiary Lamborghini Automobile SPR marked the group's entry into the hard-fought two-wheeler market. The unmistakable sound of Ducati's two-cylinder engine evokes echoes of Audi's own historic DKW and NSU motorcycle brands. In the year of its acquisition, Ducati sold more than 44,000 units, generating a turnover of some 480 million euros, its best ever financial performance, based primarily on stronger US sales. Prior to that year, the company, known in Italy as La Rosa because its bikes are predominantly sold in red, had engaged upon a campaign to cut costs and refresh its model range, as well as paving the way for future growth in Asia by building a plant in Thailand. Under the Volkswagen Group umbrella, Ducati operates as an autonomous brand within the Audi AG unit, aiming to build on its market position as a premium sports motorcycle manufacturer and exploit its know-how in lightweight construction and engine development. The characteristic sound of the red racing machine stems from the Ducati's two-cylinder engine featuring desmodromic valves. This fully controlled valve movement technology, which prevents loss of power at high revs, originated from car racing and was first deployed by Ducati in 1956 in its 125 Desmo model. The composite word desmodromic comes from the ancient Greek word desmos, meaning bond or knot, and dromos meaning track or way. The term incorporates the major characteristic of the valves as being continuously bound to the camshaft, while also denoting their primary application in their motorsport arena. This was how Ducati established the foundations for its global reputation as a sports brand, as racing Ducatis featuring desmodromic valves surged ahead of their strong competitors in the period after 1956. In 1968, the company began deploying the technology in its production models too. Despite its successes in engineering development and in the motorsport world, Ducati has had a somewhat checkered history in terms of its ownership. The present-day company can trace its roots back to a business founded by brothers Adriano, Bruno, and Marcello Ducati together with a number of other inventors in Bologna. Registered on July 4, 1926, with its address in Via Collegio di Spagna 9 in the heart of Bologna's old city. Società Scientifica Radio Bravati Ducati made capacitors for radios. The company's products were based on a patent held by the eldest brother Adriano, who had already made a name for himself while a physics student with his short-wave radio experiments. The first major order for the Argentinian market, acquired by the business in the autumn of 1926, was in fact produced before the move to dedicated premises in the basement of the family home, the Villa Leda at Viale Guadetti 51 in Bologna. 10 years later, the company had established a 12-hectare manufacturing facility on an industrial site in the western suburbs of Bologna at Borgo Panigale, which is still Ducati's home today. The foundations for the new plant were laid on June 1, 1935, and from the date on the business enjoy rapid growth, making both capacitors and radios. Employing 3,500 people, the progressive complex included canteens, kitchens, leisure, and healthcare facilities. Ducati expanded its production in the pre-war era, doubling its workforce. From 1938, it began making cameras, optical lenses, cash registers, and electric shavers, in addition to radios. Sales offices in London, Paris, New York, Sydney, and Caracas underscored the company's export drive. The survival of the Ducati firm and its establishment of a motorcycle manufacturing business was primarily down to the involvement of the original Società Scientifica Radio Brevetti Ducati in the production of a 4-stroke auxiliary motor with a 2-speed gearbox developed by SIATA, Società Italiana Applicazioni Tecniche Auto Aviatorie. The motor, conceived back in the wartime period, was intended to bring power to Italy's most important post-war means of transport, the bicycle. Fitted with a small clip-on motor, driving the wheels via the chain, a bicycle could be turned into a simple yet speedy vehicle, the moped. The small but efficient engine, named Cacciolo, meaning poppy, cob, fledgling, or also greenhorn, went into production in May 1945 in Turin. But Ciata was reaching the limits of its in-house production capacity, and in March 1946 contracted Ducati to make the moped engine. At the Milan Trade Fair in September 1946, Ducati's engineers presented a high-powered version of the Cacciolo. The first Cacciolo engine, designed completely by Ducati, went into production in Borgo Panigale in 1948. It was enthusiastically taken up by motorcycle racers, helping them to a string of victories in Italy's popular road races. The company's engineers continually enhanced the engine's performance, designing dedicated frames and building the first mopeds of their own with 55 to 65 cc capacity. As a result, by 1954, Ducati had progressed from being merely a Ciada component supplier to become an independent motorcycle manufacturer. Fabio Taglioni, 1920-2001, joined the company on May 1, 1954, taking up the challenge of meeting the demand for ever more powerful motorcycles. The highly skilled engineer quickly rose to become a chief designer at the Borgo Panigale works. Taglioni was who designed the Mariana, a single-cylinder Grand Sport with 100cc capacity and featuring an overhead camshaft, with which Ducati enjoyed major success in a tough competition of Italian long-distance racing in 1955. The open-bottom frame design, with the engine acting as a road-bearing element, was to provide the basis for many later models with capacities up to 350cc. The company's sustained successes on the race track boosted sales and drove mass production volumes, providing Taglioni with a free hand utilize costly new engineering solutions. In 1956, Taglioni developed the Desmo 125 for the motorcycle Grand Prix circuit. Featuring 3 camshafts and desmodromic valve control, the bike delivered very high revs without suffering the fear power loss due to the valve wobble. On July 15, 1956, the new Ducati caused a storm by lapping the entire rest of the field and winning the Swedish Grand Prix. Sporting success didn't bring an economic upturn, however. By the late 1950s, the demand in Italy was increasingly turning to small cars, and like all motorcycle manufacturers, Ducati was hit by a sales crisis on its key home market. The company, still under state control, switched its attentions to export markets. In 1957, Mototrans began making Ducati motorcycles under license in Spain. Ducati opened up a distribution network in the USA, while a major order from Switzerland secured production at the Borgo Panigale works for the time being. Recognizing a commercial necessity, the company's management took the decision to end its cost-intensive racing activities. In 1963, importer Berliner acquired a contract for Ducati to build a motorcycle for police forces in the USA, but the project, codenamed Apollo, failed because the load-bearing capacity of the tire material was insufficient to transmit the engine power reliably onto the road. The four-cylinder unit nevertheless served as the template for the ongoing development of high-capacity two-cylinder engines. These were key to the advancement of the brand during the 1970s, as was the introduction of the desmodromic valve control system into production bikes from 1968 onwards. With the two cylinders offset at right angles, this design minimized engine vibration while at the same time enabling optimum cooling. It provided Ducati with the capability for a successful return to the race circuit. Following its gradual acquisition by motorcycle manufacturing concern Castiglione Giovanni Varus, owned by brothers Claudio and Gianfranco Castiglione, in 1985, Ducati became the premium segment brand of the Cagiwa Group. Cagiwa drove forward Ducati's development activities, targeting new models at both the customer market and the race circuit. During the early 1990s, Cagiwa endorsed bikes powered by Ducati engines, took the podium places in the Great African Rally events. The development of water-cooled four-valve two-cylinder engines paid off for Ducati in the newly created World's Superbike Championship. The brand enjoyed a period of dominance from 1990 onwards, with a sustained string of victories over its large volume competitors, and also turned its attention back to the motorcycle Grand Prix circuit. Ducati's breakthrough in the elite class of motorcycle racing, the 500cc, came at the Imola 200-mile race on April 23, 1972. The works drives under modified two-cylinder 570 GT production bikes featuring high-performance desmodromic technology gained an impressive victory, finishing well ahead of their Japanese and European competitors recently upgraded four-cylinder engine models. After its success in Imola, Ducati stuck with a two-cylinder engine, development and enhanced over the years in a wide range of capacity variants for different models. It continues to be a defining feature of the brand to this day. Motorsport operations are run by a dedicated racing division named Ducati Course. Ducati operates a works team on the MotoGP circuit. In 2007, Ducati won the MotoGP Manufacturers and Drivers Championship. In the World Superbike Championship, Ducati has won a string of manufacturers and drivers titles, celebrating its 300th race victory in 2011.